Hello, how you doing? My name is Luke and I am incredibly handsome and muscular and amazing in all ways. I currently have some amount of dry skin. Can you see my dry skin? And I'm looking a bit beardy and old. And I've just put some water in my hair and splashed some water in my face because I'm a little bit tired. I'm the father of two little boys and that comes with a certain amount of being tired all the time. And my shoulder hurts and my back hurts. Got a lot of things to complain about, but the most important thing is, the thing I want to talk about today is I've got some jokes that I want to share with you. So here we go. Why couldn't the Frenchman send a text message? He was using a fern. ISIS have done to Muslim baby names what the Nazi Party did to German baby names. There used to be loads of Adolfs and Heinrichs and Hermans. Now they're all called Noah and Matteo and Elias. We cannot accept this level of German baby names. People wonder why the most popular baby name in the UK is Mohammed. It's because nobody can name their kid Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi anymore. That is the real problem that we are faced with. I don't know why everyone keeps saying that RFK Jr. isn't qualified to be in charge of America's healthcare system. I think he's got plenty of medical knowledge. He injected himself with heroin for 14 years. And he never overdosed once. He has a perfect track record of never overdosing while injecting himself with heroin. So he's doing very well on that count. On June 17th, 2024, RFK Jr. said, "I'll tell you something about heroin for me. I did very poorly in school until I started doing narcotics. Then I went to the top of my class." His actual publicly available qualifications are a BA in American History and Literature, which is basically the easiest degree one can possibly imagine, and a law degree, which, as everyone knows, just requires you to drink some human blood and swear allegiance to Satan. So that's... Today is President Donald Trump's inauguration day. We are all ecstatic about this situation. We're finally getting rid of the disgustingly old Joe Biden. 82 years old, 82 years old. You can't get much older than that. It is a preposterous age at which to be the President of the United States, having the most nuclear weapons on the planet at your disposal. Let's get rid of him. And we have the spry, the young and spry, full of life, 78-year-old Donald Trump. The oldest president-elect in American history, so that's fantastic news. And by the final year of his presidency, he will be 82 years old. Very young, very spry indeed. So glad we got rid of that old man, Biden. His time had come. Trump is a hero to the pro-homeschooling parents because they don't understand the difference between the government giving you 10 grand to spend on your kids' homeschooling and the government saying you can spend 10 grand of your own money on homeschooling your children. That is... It's tax-free though, it's tax-free, so that makes it a great thing to offer. Homeschooling parents are so dumb, they think that a supinated grip is what one uses to eat soup. The problem with that joke is, of course, that you would use a supinated grip to use a soup spoon, so that doesn't really work. Only a Neanderthal would use a pronated grip in order to hold a soup spoon, and homeschooling parents don't even know what a Neanderthal is. So again, we are just going round and round in circles talking about the things that homeschooling parents don't know anything about and making jokes about them because they're infinitely stupid and easy to make fun of. Trump is expected to issue a blizzard of executive orders upon assuming office. One of them will definitely be using the Mexican Wall funds in order to add his face to Mount Rushmore. That is going to happen. Trump claimed credit for the recently agreed Israel-Hamas ceasefire. It is fantastic news. I think we can all join together in celebration of this news. Israel was so ecstatic that they've decided to continue killing Palestinian civilians. At least 101 Palestinians have been killed and more than 264 injured in Gaza since the announcement of the ceasefire agreement. So they are doing extremely well at maintaining their stellar track record of killing civilians whenever it is humanly possible. It's good that North Korean soldiers have joined Russia in their invasion of Ukraine. I'm not going to say the Ukraine because that is an outrageous thing to say. I misspoke. Imagine how mind-blowing it must be coming from a country where a donkey pulling a cart is the height of technology to die from a magic metal bird dropping a bomb on your head. I enjoyed the GoPro footage of the Russian soldier killing the Ukrainian soldier being made widely available on mainstream media. It was a great advert for the GoPro. You could hear the dead soldier's soul leaving his body. Now, it was sad seeing a man killing another man when the victim wasn't the CEO of any health insurance company. The UK anti-bribery minister Tulip Siddiq has resigned after being named in a Bangladeshi anti-corruption commission investigation, alleging that she was involved in the embezzlement of approximately £3.9 billion from infrastructure projects. I think I know how this happened. When she was interviewed for this job, they asked her what her thoughts were on bribery and embezzlement, and she said she was very passionate about that, and the interviewer took that to mean that she was against those things, but what she actually meant was that she was a big fan of those things. So that is how that happened. It's a similar thing to how Sir Keir Starmer got his job as Prime Minister, where there is no one that interviews you for that position, but let's say there was in a sort of joke scenario, and they say, what are your views on the welfare of the UK population? And he said, I'm passionate about that. And they took that to mean he's passionate about maintaining it and improving it. What he really means is he's passionate about depriving people of basic needs and instead diverting funds to his associates in private companies. So, hilarious stuff. Those are all the jokes I wanted to go through with you. Let's go over them again currently after I have flexed my muscles in such a fashion as to be pleasing to the eye. Again, if you are attracted to the male muscular form, that doesn't necessarily mean that you are a homosexual. And even if you are, that shouldn't make you feel bad about yourself. It only means that you appreciate certain aesthetics, in this case being large muscles, and you shouldn't feel bad about yourself for having such feelings. So the first joke was, why couldn't the French man send a text message? So it's like a fern. If a French person was to attempt to say the word phone, they would instead say fern, because French people cannot pronounce English words correctly. So we must laugh at that at all times. There is a long history of French and British animosity since the many and varied wars that we have had with each other, such as the 100 Years' War and others. There's like a billion wars that the French and British have had with each other. There is a lot of historic animosity between the two nations. And so there is a feeling that we must continue to be racist to one another. And long may that continue. You can make jokes about the French, racist jokes about the French, and it not actually be racist. You can make racist jokes about the Germans and it not actually be racist. there's a bunch of countries that you can be racist about and get away with it because certain countries deserve it and they're sort of asking for some amount of hilarity to be excreted from their belittlement in various areas. So ISIS have done to Muslim baby name choices what the Nazi Party did to German baby names. So there was a point in German history when Adolf was a normal baby name. You could call your kid Adolf and no one would bat an eyelid. But now it is impossible. If you call your kid Adolf, you are immediately taken to a death camp and you are forced to think about what you've done while looking at the remains of the 6 million Jews that died under Adolf Hitler's leadership. So now they're all called Noah and Matteo and Elias. I was looking at the top German baby names. It's a real letdown. I was expecting some like Günther or like some Siegfried or I don't know, just like some classic Deutsch names. Arnold, like I know Arnold is Austrian, but like let's get some good German names back in the mix, if you please. Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi was that lad that was assassinated by US Special Forces. He was one of the leading guys of ISIS, and Donald Trump took the credit for his assassination because he okayed the Special Forces going in and assassinating him, I guess. So interesting times, but yeah, I feel like Muhammad can never be like knocked off the list of Muslim baby names because it is the name of their prophet. So that is going to continue forever. I don't know why everyone keeps saying that RFK Jr. isn't qualified. He isn't qualified to do anything. RFK Jr. is barely qualified to speak. His speech is a real problem, and I don't know how he was ever in a position, in a sort of governmental position, because his ability to speak, he's got this kind of like, he sounds like he's being throttled at all times, like he's got hands around his neck. From I guess all the people that sold him heroin in the past, and he refused to pay them properly. I don't know, but he sounds like he's really struggling to talk at all times. He doesn't have any qualifications to speak of. He has a BA in American history and literature, which I feel like you could probably do while being on heroin, like it wouldn't be a problem. So he's proved that he's done very well. I do not believe for a second he was ever at the top of his class. And then for him to subsequently gain a law degree, again, we all know lawyers are the scum of the universe, and you only become lawyer not through any hard work, but only through drinking human blood and swearing fealty to Satan. And you're going to represent murderers and rapists and the worst people in society because you serve Satan. So that is why that one is funny. I had almost forgotten that today was Donald Trump's inauguration day. It's exciting times. I'm expecting something amazing to happen. It's happening at 5 p.m. UK time. So I'm expecting UFOs to land. I'm expecting some sort of interdimensional portal to open during his inauguration. Maybe another pandemic to start, like people to start falling like flies in the crowd. All the worst people on the planet are attending this inauguration. There was a video of Suella Braverman and Lawrence Fox getting off a plane in America going to Donald Trump's inauguration. They are two of the worst people that the UK have produced. All the worst people from all the countries in the world are going to Donald Trump's inauguration so that they can swear fealty to him, they can drink some human blood, and swear fealty to Donald Trump in this case, who is a member of the, I don't know, like an evil cabal, I guess, that kind of worship Satan in a certain way. So it is all good news. All the worst people in the world are going to have some amount of input into Donald Trump's presidency. So only good things can come from that. He is so old. You cannot possibly imagine it. He used to take great pleasure in pointing out that Biden was super old and doddering and he could barely walk and he was pissing and shitting himself, which was all true, obviously. But Donald Trump is only a few years younger than Biden, and so he is the oldest president-elect in US history. He is going to be the oldest sitting president in US history by the end of his tenure in office. So all these things are good. He is going to be shitting and pissing himself non-stop, going on the golf course 1,000 times. Every day he must go and play some golf and shit and piss himself while he's on hole 18. Because he can't make it back to the clubhouse. But it's good. It's good to have an incredibly old person. I feel like in the UK, we tend to have prime ministers and MPs in general who are between, I want to say like 40 and 60. Like Keir Starmer is 62. So I feel like that is around the cutoff of when a person should be able to be an MP or a prime minister. If you are in a position of power, you should have all of your faculties intact. Like you should be able to not like shit yourself at any moment. You should be able to maintain concentration, not be on the verge of having a mental breakdown because you're in a position that is important and you need to be at full strength at all times. So I feel like I guess like 65 should be the cutoff maybe, where it's just like, okay, you've reached 65, you've done very well, you need to no longer be in office, you can work in the private sector if you want, you can carry on working in a sort of less serious job for another few years if you want, but you've now reached the end at which you can actually be in a governmental position because it's too dangerous. You are too old and you don't know what the fuck's going on, so off you go. But in America, somehow they think that it is normal to be 78 years old at the time that you are at your inauguration. And so you're going to be insanely old by the end of your presidency. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to extend his presidency to a third term, which currently is impossible. They tried to do it with Reagan. They tried to do it with Nixon. I think they tried to do it a bunch of times where they want to do a third term for not very popular presidents. So again, Trump will be a not very popular president because at least approximately half the country hate his guts. The other half worship him. So it's an odd situation to say the least. In the UK, at least, we despise all politicians equally, some more than others, actually, because Suella Braverman is a demon, Keir Starmer is a demon, Priti Patel is a demon. There's a lot of actual demons in UK politics, and there are some actually good UK politicians, so I'm not including them in the tar brush scenario of saying they're all scum. But Trump is a hero to homeschooling parents. He announced before his presidency started officially that he would do this great thing of allowing homeschool parents to spend $10,000 tax-free on their child's homeschooling, which they were all celebrating. They were all saying, "What a great guy! This is amazing." I feel like 10 grand, you could probably get like one set of sessions, like for swimming. Maybe you could get your 100-meter breaststroke after spending $10,000 on your kids' education. I don't know how much actual education you could get for spending that amount of money, unless you're just going to use it on buying Bibles and dictionaries, which apparently is homeschoolers' preferred method of learning, because those are the only two books they read, if they read at all. So it is interesting. Homeschooling parents are dumb. They're so dumb. I mean, if you watch any stuff on Instagram where homeschool is like #homeschooling, #homeschool, I'm homeschooling my children, aren't I very intelligent? I'm not going to let them be indoctrinated into this nonsense. I don't respect any opinion from a person with a degree because they have been indoctrinated in the American university system. They believe in ludicrous things. So I'm not going to let that happen to my children. Instead, I am going to teach them absolute nonsense. So the supinated thing, I feel like you got supinated and you got pronated. This like how your wrist is positioned in relation to the other bones in your arm. So yeah, I mean, supinated, it sounds like soup. So I guess homeschoolers would say like that is the grip that one must use to eat soup. And again, yeah, only a Neanderthal would use a pronated grip. You'd have to be like that. You'd have to have your soup like some sort of Neanderthal, like a real backwards person. Maybe people do, I don't know. But Trump is expected to issue a blizzard of executive orders. So one of them will definitely be something to do with the Mexican-US wall that he has been passionate about. It is so pointless to build a wall in an effort to stop illegal immigration with another country, especially a country which has one of the longest borders. Like the US-Mexican border is one of the longest borders imaginable. Like that, I don't think there's many or any longer borders on the planet. He famously recently said that the US-Canada border was a man-made, it was just like a man-made thing. It didn't mean anything. So that's why he's going to invade Canada. That's why he's going to invade Greenland. That's why he's going to invade Panama, because all national borders are just man-made things. They don't mean anything. so you can invade other countries willy-nilly, which obviously America has done for all of its history. So he's going to continue doing that. But at the same time, he's going to say that the US-Mexican border is a cast iron thing. It cannot be questioned. It cannot be penetrated in any way by these dirty Mexican immigrants, who are all obviously rapists and murderers and need to be stopped from coming into the country at all costs, because they are pure scum and should not be allowed to enter the utopian country of the United States of America, which of course is a joke. The Israel-Hamas ceasefire sounds like good news, seems like good news. I think everyone has basically joined together to say it is good news. Obviously, there is this kind of opposite of a silver lining, like a dark lining to this dark cloud that has appeared, which is the Israel-Hamas ceasefire. That obviously Israel are not going to stop killing Palestinian civilians. Their end game is, of course, to genocide Palestinians into oblivion. So they're going to continue doing that, maybe at a less excessive rate, but they've proven already, since the ceasefire was announced, they're not going to stop killing Palestinian civilians. They've killed at least 101 since the ceasefire was announced. Normally, you'd think once you announce a ceasefire, you are going to stop killing civilians. At that point, you're going to say, right, we've announced this ceasefire. We're going to stop just dropping bombs on civilians every day, pretending that we're trying to look for the Israeli hostages. We're going to, maybe stop being such horrific people for 5 minutes. But no, instead, they have continued to kill civilians in large numbers, and they're going to continue that for the rest of the time. Because basically, Gaza is just an open-air prison. It is just essentially an Auschwitz without the shower rooms and the pyres on which the bodies were piled in order to get rid of the evidence. So there is evidence of a genocide happening in Gaza, but nobody seems to give a shit. So that's excellent news. The North Korean soldiers, there's a lot of footage of North Korean soldiers coming into Ukraine. I feel a tiny bit bad about saying the Ukraine, but it was called that for a lot of years while it was under Russian occupation. But yeah, coming into Ukraine, and it does feel like, I guess, the equivalent of if some medieval soldiers got in a time machine and came over and went into Ukraine and tried to deal with drone strikes and modern warfare, essentially. The thing that I guess North Korean soldiers train for is maybe some sort of World War II scenario, maybe some sort of like Korean War scenario, which was basically like 5 minutes after the Second World War finished, the Korean War happened. So similar tactics were employed, but now those tactics would be considered essentially medieval. Like, they're not going to be effective at all. The Ukrainian soldiers can basically just kill them at will and kind of toy with them. There was a good video of a drone pilot toying with a couple of North Korean soldiers and eventually killing them. So it is disturbing, to say the least, that there is footage going around of North Korean soldiers getting killed willy-nilly in Ukraine. And obviously they don't deserve to die. It's sad to see these people die in these circumstances when they have been indoctrinated, they have seen propaganda which they can't possibly see anything to contradict because they live in this horrible dictatorship. So it is upsetting to see innocent people die when they have grown up in a really horrific society. So very upsetting times, but this is where we live in. I enjoyed the GoPro video of the Russian soldier killing them. So I went on the Daily Mail website, which I rarely do. I don't like going on the Daily Mail website because it is abhorrent and disgusting and racist and disgusting and horrific. But there was footage of this Ukrainian soldier and a Russian soldier fighting, having a knife fight, and the Russian soldier kills the Ukrainian soldier. And the headline was like honor of soldiers, something like that, where it was like, as the Ukrainian soldier was dying, they shared some words back and forth along the lines of, "You were a great fighter, you were the better man." Like, that was yeah, it was a good, you're a great soldier, that sort of stuff. And it was kind of to reinforce this idea that the Daily Mail wants to continue espousing, which is that soldiers have honour, and to be a soldier is honourable. To go into war is great. Wars are great. They love warmongering. They want war to continue forever and always because it sells newspapers. So what is the actual case is that people dying in wars is always tragic and upsetting and should be avoided at all costs. The two soldiers involved in the situation didn't deserve to be in this situation. They are innocent parties, essentially, who have been thrown into the mix, thrown into the meat grinder by their respective heads of state. And yeah, neither person is coming out of that well. One is dead and one is scarred for life. And I guess, in a way, the Ukrainian soldier died in the best sort of way possible, to die in a knife fight. Normally, in a modern warfare scenario, you are going to get a mortar dropped on your head. You're going to get a bomb dropped by a magic metal bird in the sky, just getting dropped in your head. There's basically no sort of heroic way to die anymore. It's always just long range and modern and clinical sort of ways to die. So this situation is pretty sick. I just don't know how the editor of the Daily Mail thought that was a good idea to show a person dying on a GoPro, essentially. Like, it's pretty disgusting. But seeing a man murder another man when the victim wasn't the CEO of a healthcare company was sad, because you never like to see that. The UK anti-bribery minister, Tulip Sadiq, has resigned after being named in alleging that she was involved in an embezzlement scheme. It's pretty funny. It's just funny that an anti-bribery minister was caught up in a bribery, like embezzlement scenario. It's like, this is your job and you should be against this, but instead you are, doing it 100%. It's the same thing as all, basically 90% of UK politicians who are employed ostensibly to serve the UK populace, but instead they use their position of power in order to put money in their own pockets, in the pockets of their friends, to embezzle money, to take money, taxpayer money, and use it for their own purposes. So, in the same way that Keir Starmer got the UK PM position by saying that he was passionate about the well-being of the UK population, when in fact what he actually meant was he's passionate about crushing the UK population under another term of austerity, another round of austerity, which we don't need to go through. Every piece of evidence points to austerity being counterproductive if your objective is the betterment of the population in which you are in charge of. So them continuing with this austerity thing is only to immiserate the population. So all good things, I think you'll agree. Those are all the jokes I wanted to go through. I've gone through them another time as well. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy the presidency of the Supreme Emperor Donald Trump and his equally just genius sidekick Elon Musk. And you have a good rest of your day. You take care. Peace.